Hey, have you ever wondered what the old name of Central Africa was? That's an interesting question. I've heard a few different names for the region, but it's changed over time. Let's dive into the history and explore this. Absolutely. So, to start, I've heard that Central Africa used to be referred to as the Congo Free State during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. It was a colony owned by King Leopold II of Belgium. Have you heard about this? Yes, I've heard of the Congo Free State. It was indeed a tragic period in the region's history. King Leopold II exploited the area for its natural resources, especially rubber, and subjected the local population to extreme brutality. It wasn't a name for the entire Central African region, but it was a significant part of it during that time. That's true, it wasn't the name for the entire region, but it's a notable part of Central African history. Now, before colonialism, Central Africa was home to various indigenous kingdoms, like the Kingdom of Congo, Luba Empire, and Lunda Empire, among others. They all had their own names for their respective territories, but there wasn't a single unified name for the entire region, as far as I know. You're right. Before colonialism, the region consisted of a patchwork of different ethnic groups and kingdoms, each with its own unique names and territories. It's important to recognize the rich diversity and history of these indigenous cultures. The colonial powers imposed their own names and boundaries on the region, often disregarding the existing social and political structures. That's a crucial point. The colonial period led to significant changes in the region, both in terms of its name and its political, economic, and social landscape. After the Congo Free State, the region became the Belgian Congo, as the Belgian government took over direct control from King Leopold II. Then, after gaining independence in 1960, it became the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Right, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo is one of the largest countries in Africa, with a rich and complex history. But let's not forget that Central Africa is not limited to just the DRC. It also includes countries like Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Republic of the Congo, and São Tomé and Príncipe, among others. Each of these countries has its own unique history and name. Absolutely, and that's a significant point. Central Africa is a vast and diverse region with a multitude of cultures, languages, and histories. It's important to respect the identities and names of each of these nations. Some of these countries have had different colonial names too, like Cameroon, which was known as German Cameroon during the colonial era. True, colonialism left a lasting impact on the region, including the names of countries. It's also worth mentioning that there were colonial powers beyond Belgium and Germany in Central Africa. France, for example, had a significant presence in the region and controlled territories like Gabon and the Republic of the Congo. That's right. Colonialism in Central Africa wasn't limited to a single colonial power. France, Belgium, and Germany, among others, all played a role in shaping the region's history. The legacy of colonialism continues to influence the region in various ways, including language, culture, and politics. Indeed, the legacy of colonialism is complex and multifaceted. It's also worth noting that in addition to the European colonial powers, there were Arab traders and explorers who had an influence on Central Africa's history. The Arab slave trade, for example, had an impact on the region long before the European colonial era. That's a good point. The history of Central Africa is deeply intertwined with the histories of various external powers and influences. It's a region with a rich tapestry of cultures and historical events. Do you think there's a need for a more unified and culturally sensitive name for the region today? That's an interesting question. While a unified name might provide a sense of cohesion for the region, it's important to be sensitive to the diverse identities and histories of the individual countries within Central Africa. The choice of a name should involve consultation and agreement among the nations of the region, rather than being imposed from outside. I agree, any effort to rename the region should involve the input and consent of the countries and peoples of Central Africa. It should also respect the historical and cultural significance of existing names and identities. Exactly. It's crucial to approach such discussions with respect for the region's complex history and diversity. Ultimately, the name of Central Africa should reflect the wishes and aspirations of the people who call it home. Well said. Central Africa is a region with a rich and multifaceted history, and any discussion about its name should be approached with care and consideration for its past and present. It's been great exploring this topic with you. Likewise. It's been a fascinating discussion, and I've learned a lot about the history and complexities of Central Africa's name. If you have any more questions or thoughts on this topic, feel free to share them.